All right, so our first story of the day is going to be, I don't know if you guys heard about this, pretty massive DeFi hacks over the weekend, right? So a major exploit took place on the DeFi lending platform dForce over the weekend, and it drained over $25 million in Ethereum and other Bitcoin pegged assets from the protocol's liquidity pool. And this is just yet another major incident in Ethereum's DeFi ecosystem. On April 19th, the Chinese lending platform lendf.me, that's part of dForce's network, saw hackers steal nearly all of the funds contained on that platform. Linked right here. Now, writing in a Medium blog post, Mindao Yang, who is the founder and chief executive at the dForce Foundation, confirmed the details of the exploit that up until this point were pretty much just scattered about on Twitter. Now, interestingly enough, Yang says the hackers have recently expressed a desire to negotiate and that dForce is going to be entering into a discussion with them to hopefully reach an agreement to recover funds. So this is kind of more of a, we see this a lot, right, with ransomware attacks, right? So this is kind of like an exchange hack / turn pseudo ransomware attack, right? Now, according to a report by Slowmist published here on Medium, several cryptocurrencies, including multiple stablecoins, were stolen, including, this is from LendMeF, including the following, WF, 55,159 coins, WBTC 9 coins, Chai 77,000, HBTC 320, HUSD 432,000, BUSD 480,000, 587,000 PAX, 459,000 True USD, 698,000 USDC, and 7.18 million Tether, also some IMBTC and USDX in there as well. So the majority of stablecoins, right? The majority of stablecoins. So this really is, straight up, if you are just looking to kind of like dip in and dip out, obviously as a hacker, large sums of stable coins, currencies that are pretty stable, you know exactly how much you're getting. And these things, these large kind of decentralized holdings that are not very secure of stable coins are obviously going to be a huge honeypot. We've covered these before. I mean, these huge third-party honeypots are just very dangerous. Since Saturday night's hack, the dForce Foundation has temporarily suspended its protocols, LendMeF and USDX, along with they've also taken their website offline. Now, the lendf.me site, it's a decentralized money matching protocol, pretty popular in the Chinese market, and it utilizes smart contracts to enable easy borrowing. If you're a borrower or you're a lender, borrowers and lenders can deposit and withdraw the stable currency of lendf.me USDX at any time, subject to liquidity, and users can lend USDX to earn yields. Now, DeFi Pulse, which is an analytics and rankings platform for decentralized finance protocols, we've gone over this before, shows how assets being tracked on the dForce network plunged heavily 100% after the attack. I mean, you could just see the total value locked up on dForce, like rising, hacked, it's all gone, baby. Wiping out all of the holdings contained on that network in one fell swoop. Now, as for what was behind the exploit that robbed the dForce protocol blind, we do have an analysis from the team over at the decentralized exchange token Ion. So in this article, the token Ion team claims that it's identified that the exploit is having taken advantage of a known vulnerability in a smart contract that links ERC-777 tokens and the Uniswap /lendf.me contracts. Okay. Now, Slowmist also reported on the hackers' movements following the successful deployment of the attack, with the majority of the assets that the majority of the assets have been moved onto other decentralized exchanges and have since been converted into ETH. As for what comes next, going back to Yang from dForce, he said that they're doing everything in their power to contain the situation. They've contacted law enforcement in several jurisdictions. They've reached out to the issuers of the assets themselves and exchanges to track down and blacklist the hackers' addresses, and they've engaged their legal teams. But of course, this is the blockchain, so good luck with that. dForce is one of China's largest decentralized finance platforms for lending fiat-backed stablecoins. Just last week, the platform raised $1.5 million in funding from Multicoin Capital, Wobi Capital, and CMB International. So this is not like some small way by side gas station of an exchange. This is a huge deal. There appears to be hope, however, that investigators might be able to catch up with the hacker. We have seen skill in this done. It does appear that the executor of the actual attackers here weren't actually very obviously they were able to exploit the protocol, but it doesn't seem like they were very good when it comes to cybersecurity per se. Maybe they were good at exploiting smart contracts, but not necessarily covering their trails, because it seems like they did leave a pretty significant trail of breadcrumbs for a cybersecurity expert to be able to track them down. Now, shortly after the exploit was completed, an interesting exchange of on-chain messages took place. The hacker sent 3 transactions. This is what I'm talking about. The hacker sent 3 transactions of PAX tokens, which was about $250,000 to the Lynch exchange, Paraswap, and an account identified as lendf.me admin. And this is pointed to as a symbolic gesture, as Pax means peace in Latin, and it appears that the hacker may be waving the white flag and looking to make peace, or looking to open up maybe negotiations on this ransomware attack. Or it's entirely possible that he just exploited the system to prove that he could, and he wants to give the funds back. That would be pretty rare, but those things have happened before, right? We have had a lot of white hat breaches of exchanges with returned funds, not actually hacked funds. Those usually don't make the news, because this is more of a oh, what's going to happen? Dude stole stuff. Now, dForce did respond with an on-chain message to the hacker that included an email address for the attacker to contact, and later signaled it had replied to the hacker's inquiry. Soon after that, the hacker appears to have returned the Huobi issued assets to lendf.me. That was about $2.6 million. dForce finally sent one message with a mildly threatening tone saying, "Contact us for your better future." Now listen here, hacker. Cute, but don't let us, we'll sick Arthur Hayes on you, okay? Now, according to a spokesperson from the decentralized exchange, Lynch.exchange, which was one of the dexes used by the attacker to trade some of his ill-gotten cryptocurrency. Let's see here. Here it is. From Cointelegraph, the spokesperson explained to Cointelegraph that the cybercriminal leaked important metadata about himself by directly using its web-based content delivery network instead of the IPFS-based front end. Specifically, all 3 exchange requests came from a single Chinese IP address, which suggests that the hacker did not use a decentralized network like Tor. The exchange's spokesperson theorized that this is a VPN or a proxy server, which may be liable to subpoenas, meaning that because he did not actually utilize Tor, although you could track the back end and the front end much more difficultly though, because he just used a regular VPN, the VPN can be subpoenaed and we can actually go in and grab his IP address and find out who he is. Now, the hacker is also known to have been using a Mac, revealing his screen's resolution and system language, which was set to EN-US. Now, although this data is trivial to obfuscate, the high amount of uncommon details in this metadata suggested to the investigators over at 1inch that it was simply an oversight. They concluded that he seems to be a good programmer, but an inexperienced hacker, which kind of leads with my bias earlier that from the data that we have, it seems, again, as I said, this is somebody who was pretty good at exploiting smart contracts, but not necessarily somebody who was a cyber criminal as a state of course. Otherwise, he wouldn't leave this metadata. Now, police investigations are already underway. According to 1inch, it appears likely that the hacker will be forced to return the money in hopes of lenient treatment if they are able to catch them. And from the data that we have, it seems to suggest that he will be caught. The weekend hack does, however, follow another DeFi exploit that happened earlier in April. That was when BISC, that's a decentralized exchange that enables users to trade anonymously, revealed that hackers had uncovered a critical security vulnerability that allowed them to steal $250,000 in Bitcoin and Monero from their platform. And this also follows the story that we covered just last week, and that is the class action lawsuit filed against MakerDAO. And we discussed how these DeFi protocols are still experimental, and investors should be very familiar with the risk of locking up funds on these platforms before they start considering this really a realistic alternative to traditional investing, right? Again, this is as somebody who's been fairly critical of Ethereum in the past, and this is as somebody who's, obviously very, very pro decentralization and innovation, but at the same time, it is very difficult for me to, they say that if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. And as much as I do believe that platforms like decentralized exchanges and decentralized finance are going to be the way forward, we also have to take with a huge grain of salt that these things are new and fresh. And there are going to be many, many years of exploitation. And people that are locking up, massive sums of money on these platforms, I mean, that is on them. That certainly is on them. As a trading group and as a trader, I have to deal with large amounts of cryptocurrency. And we could have gone a couple different ways, obviously, with suggesting how actually seek to grow my net asset value. Let's switch back over to the main scene and talk about this. You know, there's a lot of different strategies that I could employ to grow my net asset value, right? And I've seen a lot of these because I do more than just cryptocurrency, right? I trade Forex, I trade exchange traded funds, I trade contracts for difference, and I trade crypto. And that means that I'm very diversified, and that means that I have elements of cryptocurrency in my philosophy and in my portfolio and in my trading strategy. But it also means that I have traditional elements, and a lot of crypto-only specific traders or groups tend to be very ignorant of traditional markets or traditional approaches to things. Some aren't certainly, but many are. And I think that that is very risky. I think that that exposes you to too much potential downside. This is why, you know, recently we did a community mentoring session last Wednesday, and one of our members asked, you know, if I thought it was a good direction for somebody who was a crypto only trader to begin opening up and exploring other options and avenues. And I said, absolutely. Not only from an investment perspective, but also because, you know, for example, right? Cryptocurrency is not the only exciting development going on right now. It certainly is avant-garde, at the front of the front. But to say that this is the only thing going on in the world, when that is blatantly not true, because look at all the issues that affect cryptocurrency, right? Obviously, COVID-19 and vaccine development and treatment is a huge developing area in industry. And prior to that, there were many technologies that people use on a day-to-day scale. The people who are deeply entrenched in cryptocurrency, you guys use planes, trains, automobiles, mobile devices, computers, cellular technology, 5G, every single day. And so to spurn investment or interest in these other things and assume that this is the only thing going on, not only is short-sighted in my opinion, but it also from a diversification standpoint means no diversification, right? You can't just diversify in cryptocurrency. And I think here's the reality, right? If I may say so, this entire Ethereum DeFi and the constant hacks and the issues really go to show and strengthen my point that I think, in my opinion, this Ethereum decentralized finance approach and individuals putting lots and lots and lots of money, locking lots of money up on these systems, right? That has been an attempt for crypto-centric individuals, crypto-only individuals, to de-risk off or diversify their crypto holdings on-chain. And that has been very painful, to the tune of millions of dollars for a lot of these investors, right? So, things to consider, things to think about. All right, with that being said, if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, please leave a comment in the section down below. Let us know what you think. Do you guys think that I'm being too harsh on decentralized finance? Again, I want to be very, very clear that I do think this is the future, but I think that individuals who are, and especially investors who are interacting with these systems, you can support a network's growth and help develop and encourage that system by throwing a couple $100s on there or a couple $1,000, not 2.4 million. All right? There are safer ways to protect your funds.